you all for joining TytoCare's first telehealth summit, entering the era of telehealth 2.0, more than just video. We are going to get started with our agenda today. My name is David. I lead our commercialization efforts here in the US at TytoCare. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, TytoCare's very own CEO, Dedi Gilad.
Thank you, David, and thank you, everyone. I'm really so excited to see such a great turnout to our first ever summit. We plan to do it on a yearly basis, and we have over 1,000 registrants for this one, so this is great. So let's jump in, and I will tell you a little bit at the beginning how it all started about eight years ago. Me and my partner, Ofer Tzadik, formed Tyto out of my personal need with my young daughter, Shahar, back then. She was going to the kindergarten in Israel, and the first year was a nightmare. Almost every couple of weeks, I had to go with her to the pediatrician for very standard throat infection, ear infection that came and returned occasionally. And the ritual of dressing her up in the morning, calling work, you're going to be late, driving to the clinic, waiting in line, everybody's sneezing on you, made me think, how can we really make this better? Back then in Israel, we used to have a great telehealth service by the best HMO in Israel, which was mostly phone and video, zero copay. I never used it. And I asked myself why, and this is really the idea behind how Tyto started. How can we make a holistic interaction remotely from home with a clinician to really replicate a face-to-face interaction? And this is our mission. We really want to realize the promise of virtual care or primary care, to really allow the entire family, whether you are healthy or chronically ill, to really have the most comprehensive visit and diagnosis at home. I will not go into explaining about telehealth. You all know it. You are from this industry. You are our partners. I would just say the market grew tremendously in the last few years and became, I would say, at the forefront of every health organization in the country and in the world, actually. COVID obviously accelerated a lot of that. Became, from the consumer side, I would say the most important element is the awareness and hands-on experience. For the first time, people had to use telehealth. And I think in general, the feedback was great. Telehealth is solving a problem. Government-wise, we see a lowering the bar of the regulatory burden, new reimbursement models, and so forth. I think the main change is also on the healthcare provider and payer side. We see many more new offerings, virtual primary care, more RPM solutions, and so forth, new virtual plans with payers, a lot of exciting new things. And this is exactly what Tyto is bringing to the table. So we are bringing a holistic kit for home users that was built from the ground up for consumers to use, bringing the very basic primary care examination and journey of gathering the data and interacting with the clinician to the lay user. So the kit itself is modular. I will not go into the details. Ophir will do much more on the platform later on, but just in a nutshell, we can do the imaging of the throat, the ear, the skin, the eyes, auscultation, recording of the sounds of the heart, the lungs, the abdomen, and some basic vital signs like temperature reading, heart rate, pulse oximetry, and so forth. I would like to finish with maybe a very important slide for me, and to give you a sense of our vision and how do we bring ourselves into that as we grow. And I would say the majority of the telehealth interaction in the US today are in level 1. So video or phone calls, which are great, solving a lot of issues, but limited at the service capability. What we are adding in level 2, is better diagnosis for more use cases. So remote, online, as well as asynchronous in the same platform with the physical exams. Level 3 is really the better service modalities. Some more advanced partners, both outside of the US, like in Switzerland, as well as in the US, I cannot disclose names, are now experiencing some very unique modalities, including virtual primary care, asynchronous triage services, when Tyto becomes the front gateway to those modalities and escalating the service from that first interaction to the physicians later on. And the last level is really AI and machine learning. when we can really add the missing element of analyzing the data, providing alerts and decision support to the clinicians and to the patients. So this is exactly how we see the elevation from the basic physical visit, shifting more and more to the digital one, and having a complete digital primary care at the end of the day. But I think today, post-COVID or almost post-COVID, we are much more open, and the organization that we work with are much more open to experience some new ideas and some new care modalities. Thank you very much.